Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is July 17th, 5:10. We are live. We're just about to record an episode on the ESPYs. Instead, we got breaking Steelers news.
Yeah.
TJ Watt has signed a 3-year extension and has now become the highest non-quarterback, highest paid non-quarterback about 41. I'm going to say, let me get this right. Yeah, 41 million per year
Yeah.
is what he signed for 3 years. Lee, just come out of the gate. What are your thoughts on the move?
I'm kind of shocked that the Steelers gave in. I thought that, to be honest, I kind of thought that they were going to move off with all the moves they've done so far this offseason. But, TJ Watt is definitely the best defensive player in the league right now, and I'm happy that we get to have him for at least another 3 years with the extension that they gave him. And, he's going to be making some big money. I just hope that now that he's got his contract, and we've talked about it before. I hope he doesn't do his whole little thing like, "Oh, I'm ready to go" type thing. He's got his extension, he's got his money now. He's highest paid non-quarterback right now in the history of the league, and he better come out and play like the best player that's ever played defense in the entire NFL for the next 3 years with the contract he just got. So I want to see him break Michael Strahan's sack record every year the next 3 years. He better do that for what he just got for us.
We got our comment here. Dang, that's awesome. I do agree with that. I know I've been shitting on, like you were just saying, about him coming in and talking about now it's time to get to work. The fact that this was in before training camp was over, I think we don't have to worry about that. Of course, first week he's going to get questions about it and he's going to answer them, but
Yeah.
there's not going to be that like everyone's in there already and him coming in late to be the hero kind of deal. So there's no worry on that stretch. I never thought he was going anywhere this year. I was curious to see how much they would be willing to sign him for,
Mm-hmm.
and they were willing to pay him more than anyone else that is non-quarterback wise has made. Right now, Jamar Chase, the receiver for Cincinnati, is making about 40.25 million annual value. He signed a 4-year, $161 million deal. Then two edge rushers. Myles Garrett was at 40 million. Max Crosby was at 35.5. I think those are the two numbers that are more important to
Yeah.
Watt in his situation as pass rushers. There, he wanted to get paid like he was the best edge rusher in the league, and he's getting paid like that now, uh,
Yeah.
surpassing Myles Garrett, who, like we said, received 40 million. Yeah, I mean, what can you say other than the guy's a game breaker?
Mm-hmm.
He's been one of the best players for what 5-6 years now at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time. He's still got it. I don't think there's been much slowing down. I don't know. Have you seen anything that you would agree or disagree with on there?
No, not really. Again, he's been the best player in the league, like like you just said, for like probably past like 6 years and stuff. There has been some issues with injury for him, and we've seen that over the past couple seasons, and we kind of know how things are with the defense and how we are with the winning record with him on the field and when he's not on the field. I think we're like 1-9 when he's not there. So it's when he is injured, it is difficult. It seems like for the Steelers to actually do something. So I just hope that he does get the chance to stay healthy. This season and the future seasons. Again, he is getting a little up there in age. He's still kind of young, but for football age, he is starting to get up there a little bit older. So we can only hope for the best and hope that he continues to maintain that elite status in the way he plays and performs out there. Each Sunday that he's out there playing.
Yeah, I think this just shows that this general manager, this whole front office is looking at this season and the next couple seasons as the window. And
Yeah.
I think that it's probably the right move with what they've got going on right now. I mean, you pick up Rogers, you pick up a couple other guys, DK Metcalf, of course, Jalen Ramsey. It's going to be a star-studded lineup. There's going to be a lot of Hall of Famers on the field, but they're also at the end of their careers. A lot of those guys.
Yeah.
Um, is it this year or bust for you? Do you think some of these guys can last a little bit longer than just this year?
Um, I I think that maybe some of these guys can last a little bit longer. I don't think that some of them are going to be here much longer, but I think some of them could maybe last within the next 3 years.
Hmm.
But I do kind of think that for some of these guys, this might be their last chance at getting somewhere like a Super Bowl or some type of championship for them. If they don't get it anywhere, it'll probably be here to be the last spot, depending on how they do this season, the next couple seasons. But I do think that a couple of these guys can last at least the next three.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, guys like Ramsey and stuff, they have a little more time, I think, left.
Mm-hmm.
DK Metcalf obviously does. But the big elephant in the room with Aaron Rodgers and how much longer he's going to last.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a situation. They got a lot of draft picks next season, but it's unlikely they're going to have a pick in the top 10. So, in a lot of ways, I do see this season as like a bust year.
Yeah.
Winner, win a title or bust.
That's it.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's a little too harsh,
Mm-hmm.
but at least get out of the rut they've been in. Win a couple playoff games. Do something that shows that the franchise has some momentum going along. Right now, it just seems like we're just stuck in the mud kind of deal. Playoffs, one and dones have gone a little tiresome for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how your feelings are on all that.
Yeah, no, I mean, the past couple of years, we've been knocked down the first round of the playoffs, or just got a winning record to where, we had a winning record just to be above 500 to continue Mike Tomlin's streak, and we haven't really gone anywhere. And I'd love to see us go somewhere, and I think since like 2017, it's the furthest we've gone anywhere. We haven't gone anywhere, in the playoffs, and I'd like to see the Steelers, progress, get out of the wild card, at least make it to the division round or something. I do want to see that. So if it's another wild card or just winning season, I mean, what have we really even done? We're just in the same place as we've been the past almost 10 years now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm curious if this is going to be the end of the moves because I'm looking at it now. It looks like this extension will likely free up even more cap space for 2025. So the Steelers might not be done, but just to recap what they have done so far, there's been a few trades. The first one, or the most recent one, was of course the Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith coming in, Minkah Fitzpatrick going out. That happened on June 30th. Prior to that, March 9th was DK Metcalf, and May 7th there was George Pickens' trade when he was gone. In addition to that, they've made some free agent moves. Of course, the main one being Aaron Rodgers, 1 year, $30 million. Darius Slay, a couple defensive backs, and one Thornhill and Brandon Eccles. Some other moves they made just to throw them out there. Kenneth Gainwell, Jaylen Warren got re-signed. They picked up Derek Harmon in the first round. They got Caleb Johnson in the third round. What are the moves at this point? The big moves you'd expect to be over with, I think. But what's your biggest takeaway from the offseason? And then how would you grade them out so far?
I think they've made a lot of good moves for sure. We lost Minkah. I don't think that, to be honest, I guess it was probably an even trade with Jalen and Ramsey and Minkah, even though I like Minkah a lot better. But I don't know how the defense is going to continue to, play with, maybe they have a new scheme for just one safety high. Who knows what they're going to do? We'll have to see how the defense goes. But I like some of the moves they made. They brought in a veteran wide receiver in DK, who's they're all divas, but he seems to be a little more professional, at least, than George Pickens. Brought in some other guys, got rid of some other guys. I think I would grade them at least an A for the offseason. And I think
at least an A.
At least an A.
Not too much higher than an A, right?
Well, maybe an A plus. But I think that I think what they've been doing for this offseason and getting the draft picks that they have for next season, I think they're maybe kind of preparing themselves for a rebuild. I really do think that that's kind of what's going to be happening starting next season.
Yeah, I mean, you could see this as like a last ride, whatever you want to do. I've been calling it a win or bust kind of situation. But there's a lot of guys that are up there in age. For next year, I think I still want to say that the best move they made for next year is most likely going to be that Aaron Rodgers move. Other than that, long term, I really do like Caleb Johnson as the running back, but I think I'll go towards the DK Metcalf move. I assume he's going to be here for a long time now, and he's going to be very helpful for whoever ends up being the quarterback for the Steelers once Aaron Rodgers moves on. So
Yeah.
grade wise, first of all, one thing we left out was the Omar Khan extension. He's now
Oh
signed
yeah.
through
Yeah.
2028 also. Um, I grade wise, for what they could do, what was available to them, they hit a lot of marks. I would like another receiver still. I'm going to have to give them like a B. I'll give them a
Mhm.
B. I can't give them an A yet. I think um, that they made some splashy moves. The question is if that splash is going to be enough to overcome some little things that are more meat and potatoes that this team might not have right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like you just said with that extension, they freed up some cap space. Maybe now's their time to go after another wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I mean, we still have a few more weeks of off season. Of course, the preseason's coming up in a couple weeks, but there is still time for them to possibly do something with what they've been doing this off season. I hope that a wide receiver comes soon, but we've been waiting for somebody to show up for over a year now. So we'll have to see what they decide to do. But I'm hoping maybe now with the freed up cap space, we can kind of get somebody in as a wide receiver too right now.
Yeah, I think there's training camp starting at the end of next week,
I think so. Yeah.
somewhere around there. Yeah, so I would expect if they're going to get a receiver, they would want him in prior. Yeah, July
Hmm.
24th through August 12th is considered training camp at Latrobe. Yeah, I would expect that they want someone in there before training camp starts. If they don't get them in there, maybe you're going to look more closer to the start of the season. I guess maybe a team's going to want to get rid of a guy before the season starts. Want to open up some space on their roster.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think they need another receiver if they want to be a contender. I don't know if that will even be enough because there's holes, there's problems that I think have been popping up. A lot of times it takes till you get to the playoffs to see them, and
Yeah.
then you get these performances that aren't that great. Um, and as we see here, Thursday is the correct date, I believe, the 24th.
Hmm.
And on top of all that thing we've been talking about, he also mentioned hope he stays healthy, meaning TJ Watt. But
Yeah.
I hope you got a lot of aging guys. Even if Watt stays healthy, there's going to be a lot of guys that I don't expect to get much playing time in the spring or spring training in
Preseason.
preseason. But that comes with a little concern that once they get in there, once they get in live action, you're going to get some of those injuries, those hammies and things like that
Yeah.
a younger team might not have to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be concerned with of course Aaron Rodgers. You got Cameron Hayward, who's up there a little bit in age. Jalen Ramsey, of course. Um, you know, maybe even DK, who's a little bit older. And, so you definitely have to look out for some of these guys to make sure that they are staying healthy. Um, it seems though after over the years since, Sean McVay has done his things with keeping a lot of the starters out of the preseason
Mm-hmm.
and saving them until the regular season. It seems like a lot of teams have kind of slowly started doing that. Um, I maybe I think Mike Tomlin maybe does like one drive with some of them, but hopefully they're not in too long into preseason where something can happen and that they are safe and healthy for the regular season to start. So we just got to hope that things work out for those guys that are up there in age for sure.
Yeah. We keep getting at it, but I really do think it's going to be Super Bowl or reset for them this
Yeah.
year,
Yep. Yep.
and a lot of it is going to be health. A lot of it is going to be whether these guys in the secondary have something left in them. There are a lot of vets there now. I hope that everyone can gel. I hope that
Hmm.
everyone can get going. Maybe this is a season where a lot of times we've started strong lately, but this might be a season where they need to like build up momentum and then actually play stronger as the season ends. I think this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
And as it gets closer, we'll me and you will go through the schedule, just kind of see what it's looking like and predictions, things like that. But again, you might be right. It might be one of those, like you said, we start off strong and then fade out until the end. So, it just depends on how things work out with these guys. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, once again, the 3-year, $123 million contract for T.J. Watt, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL, I believe. Definitely the current one. And I think it's also in the history, overtaking a couple defensive ends in Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. Myles Garrett was at 40 million straight. Jamar Chase, receiver for the Bengals, of course, 40.25 million. So that's a couple names in the AFC North. What are you looking at? I don't know. I'm just kind of off the top of my head for you. Is there anything you've seen from those teams in the offseason that's really been a highlight for you?
I really haven't seen much in the offseason of the Bengals. There's nothing I've really seen. I know that Joe Burrow's coming back from injury and things like that, and so that's all I've really seen about them. Of course, the Browns have their thing with like 10 different quarterbacks in their quarterback room, so you never know what's going on with that. Again, that's another thing. I really haven't seen much moves with them, but the AFC North is always going to be the AFC North. It's always going to be the toughest division, I believe, in the NFL, and it's going to just be a fun time when we play each of those teams twice throughout this season.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers have definitely had the loudest offseason of the teams here. Best move, I'm looking up for the Ravens. Someone's saying Mike Williams might be that move there. The receiver who was here wasn't very successful in his time here. He had a couple of flashes, I guess, but the Cleveland Browns signed Leonard Floyd, it looks like. A couple other moves was Tyler Boyd, and there's nothing trade-wise of significance for them. For the Bengals, they're saying signing Cameron Curl from the Commanders is a move that they made. They got Jeff Okudah, who was a highly touted prospect coming out of the draft, but really hasn't done too much here. Did some stuff to build up their depth, but it's definitely the Steelers making the biggest moves in the offseason, but I think that's not always the greatest thing. You don't want to be the team who makes the headlines in the offseason. You want to be the team that makes the headlines during the season and during the playoffs. And I think right now Omar Khan has done a lot of these moves, but it really hasn't been something that we've seen on the field yet. Hopefully this is the year that changes that, right?
Yeah, hopefully. They always say you don't want to be the loudest person in the room, but the Steelers have definitely needed to make some moves, and they did. And I think they may have, like you said, they've done it definitely louder than a lot of teams in this division, and even frankly, in the entire NFL this season. And so you got to hope that what Omar Khan has done, maybe he has a few more tricks up his sleeve. Maybe with his extension, he's got some more stuff going on in the next couple of years that he plans on trying to help with with a rebuild for the Steelers. Because like you said, I agree with you. I think it's either a Super Bowl or bust this year for sure. I think that's what it is. And especially with all those draft picks, I really do think that it's a possible rebuild for them next year.
Yeah, and just to highlight something else that might be the reason why they've been more active than the other teams, is that those other teams were paying quarterbacks high value contracts prior to the Steelers move for Rodgers, which was obviously $30 million. The Browns had to make a QB shuffle and do all the things they did with Flacco and Pickett and all that, but they're still paying Watson a ton of money. That contract's completely guaranteed. And then Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, two of the top quarterbacks in the league, they're both getting paid what they deserve. So that does give the Steelers a unique situation coming into the offseason where they were able to make moves because they had the money to do so. But yeah, I think that's all I got. A nice Thursday afternoon surprise with the T.J. Watt signing. Any final takeaways from you, Lee?
No, I just again, I'm glad that we're not going to be losing TJ. Again, I do see him as the best defensive player in the league right now. I just hope that he comes into the season with a splash after getting exactly what he wanted. So we'll hope for the best for the guy and hope for the best for this team.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'll see you.
I'll see
Have a
you.
good night.
Yep.
Okay, man.